It is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. That is brand new Evergrey from their latest release called Hymns for the Broken. And the name of that tune is called A New Dawn, which I thought was a good song to start the interview out because it is kind of a new dawn for the band Evergrey. And Evergrey almost became extinct, but they came roaring back with this brand new release, Hymns of the Fallen. And I want to welcome back to the Classic Metal Show our good friend Tom Englund. And I don't want to mispronounce your last name there, Jonas. How do you say your last name?
Scurly burly, man. It's Ekdahl.
Okay, I didn't want to mispronounce it, but Jonas Ekdahl. So welcome to the show there, guys.
That's great.
Well, guys, as I mentioned at the top of the interview there, you guys almost were non-existent, and you decided that you know what, we're having too much fun to put this thing to bed. So, Tom, why don't you tell us your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, it started that I felt that I didn't have that much fun at all, So I felt that maybe this had ran its course, and I wasn't panicking about that idea at all. I was more sort of at ease with it, accepting the fact that, almost 20 years is a good while to be doing music in a band. But then Hannes left for Sabaton, and Marcus left on his own, and the only two guys I said that I would make an album with again in the name of Evergrey would be Jonas and Henrik. And it just so happened that we had two shows at that time as well that we needed to fill the spots for. So I called Jonas and Henrik and asked if they could do these shows as hired guns in a way, and they did. And then that's when we found out that we sort of missed each other and missed playing together. And to make a very, very, very long story short, we hammered out our differences and went through everything that we had as doubts for the history, and then we decided that we would do this another time, and now we're super happy to have made that decision.
Right. Well, do you think that you just needed a break after hammering out 8 records over a 20-year period and relentless touring and whatnot, and maybe you all just needed a breather, and once you were away from one another, it was it was a new day, as it were?
It was the best decision we've ever made.
Yeah. I'm so happy we did that. No, I mean, that decision has made every one of us grow and really mature and totally respecting and appreciating the skills as musicians for the other guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm so happy we did it, and now because now we could remain best friends after that. And if we wouldn't have done that, we probably wouldn't be here today.
Well, I'm glad you guys were able to put it together because Evergrey has been one of my favorite bands personally, and
thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and anyway. This is a very strong release from you guys. How did this music come together there, Tom? Did you already have the music written, or did did this come together when you guys decided to put your differences aside, or how did the writing process for this new release go?
I mean, we wrote, of course, on our own. We had this offer from AFM Records, and we signed with them and started writing, and then these two shows that I mentioned before happened, and apparently Jonas had been writing music on his own, right?
Yeah, I was, I had a lot of ideas, in my head that I just needed to put out, so I just wrote and recorded some stuff at home, and it turned out to be, not that surprisingly, I mean, it kind of, the style of Evergrey, so I kind of felt that I miss playing and writing that kind of music again, and playing together with the rest of the band, But, so yeah, I had a couple of ideas I presented when it was time to record that I written even when I was not in the band. We had a date at Tom's place one night, and Tom and Rickard played up their ideas that they had their new stuff, and I played my stuff, and Henrik had some stuff laying around as well. So, and then we just started putting everything together.
Yeah, it's a total band effort. Also,
yeah, it's definitely
one of the I would say the first time that I felt that we've done like everything together. That everybody's been involved in each and every chord progression of the album. So, yeah, and I think it really shines through too.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, when you guys were apart there, Jonas, what did you do with yourself? Did you play with other people or do some session work, or do you have another line of work outside of music? What do you do?
Yeah. I have a day job, and me and Henrik, we have another band called Death Destruction, which we that's what we went for after we parted ways with Evergrey. So we released 2 albums with that band, and we're still doing that. So that's what I've been doing.
Sure.
Mainly, and then just writing music for myself. And a lot of that music turned out to fit in the Evergrey
style.
After all the other guys putting their magic into it. It's,
Excellent. Well, everybody knows, especially here in the States, the music business is a very, very tough thing to do anymore. It seems like the only way any band could actually make any money at it is to do touring. I mean, unfortunately, music doesn't sell as well as it used to. What is your thoughts on making full-length albums in today's environment? Some bands are taking the route of maybe writing 2 or 3 songs and releasing them one at a time, or putting out like EPs every 6 or 8 months rather than doing a full-length record. And you guys always come back with full-length CDs. Is your formula? Do you ever think your formula will change, or what do you see in the the record market for music sales?
Well, I must contradict your words here a bit, because the sales in Europe actually went up. So it's like this declining state of record sales has turned. In Sweden, it went up with like 23%. So it's not affecting us yet.
That's good.
But I think we will. I think we are an album band. I think Evergrey is a band that should be sort of experienced by listening to having a good portion of an hour listen to it, to delve into it.
Well, what do you attribute the European market to being such hardcore fans to where they'll come out and support big festivals, and as you mentioned, actually buy music, and are very supportive as their bands, aside, as opposed to what happens here in the United States market? What's the differences that you've seen for yourself, and do you have a thought for why things are so much different here?
I mean, honestly, we haven't even thought about that. We are a band that does work on tours, and that we could tour pretty much everywhere, and we tour in the States too. So I don't even have an opinion on that right now, because I'm not in. I mean, of course, we're not playing like 10,000 seaters at all. But I mean, we have never done that. We have, but Evergrey. That's also the cool thing about being in Evergrey. We have we still grow slowly, very slowly, but still not declining. So it's. Yeah.
Excellent.
I don't know, man.
We grow, it's not short.
Good stuff.
We're doing killers, not killing.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I see that you guys, for this CD anyway, that you worked with Jacob Hansen, who worked with Volbeat and Pretty Maids and Primal Fear, which are some of the most favorite bands here on the Classic Metal Show, to mix and master this new CD. how did he get the call, and what made you choose him? Are you impressed with his work with those other releases?
He's an Evergrey fan, and we met on Facebook, and I just said by chance, because I did another album with a band called Episode, and he mixed that one, and I thought it had a great sound, so I just told him maybe he would like to do the next Evergrey album, and I just I didn't know him or knew that he was a fan of the band, and he immediately answered that he would really, really love to do it, and would be super excited to do so. So at that point, half is already won. When somebody says that they are dedicated, and he surely is. He made a diamond out of the gold that we had, So it's an amazing mix.
So to you, tell me your thoughts there, Tom, on the importance of a good producer and a guy who can mix and master. I mean, obviously, it could be the difference between an album being, a top seller to a complete flop. Is that true?
I guess it is. Yeah, absolutely.
And then again, it's a big difference being a producer and being a mixer. It's for producing. I think you really need to know where the song is going and what the song is about and what kind of directions you want to take. And same with the whole album. After that, it's important to have a guy who can develop that and enhance everything and just deliver the mix. So it's just what the producer or the band and whoever's doing the record gets. So the message gets through and the expression gets through.
Well, it's a.
Does that make sense?
Sure, absolutely.
What Jacob did was that he understood. Me and Jonas pretty much produced the album together with the other guys in involvement as well. But Jacob Hansen really took what we had done and showed us how it should sound.
Yeah.
And as he is a fan, he really knows what our strengths are and how every bit and small piece should sound like. So yeah.
Yeah. He totally got our vision where we were heading with this, and just made it even more epic.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, you guys have always had an epic sound, big sound, and having Jacob, especially with the success he's had with Volbeat and Primal Fear, which, like I said, we're huge fans of both of those bands here on the Classic Metal Show. That was an excellent choice. Well, We'll break down this album for us a little bit. Anything that stands out here in this new release that you want to point something out to the fans here that maybe they might not discover right away?
I think it's the first time that we have an album that actually has some kind of positive vibe or a glimpse of hope through the whole album, even though it's really dark. The lyrics are kind of dark all the time. But musically, it's just even though we have a lot of dynamics, and we're going from heavy, and we're going to kind of really dark music. There's always this vibe of positiveness. That's really fucking awesome. I don't know how we managed to do that, but I think it's all came down to us, having such a good time being back again and just boosting each other up with positive energy all the time, and just touch each other's back all the time. It was a great experience.
Sure.
I think it's really true on the album. And
do any of the current events in the world influence your writing? Obviously, the big news currently is all this terrorism with this ISIS and this ISL, and all the terrorism going on around the world. Does any of that influence or seep into your thought process in any of your writing? Of
course it does. I mean, we're humans, and we are getting affected by everything that's surrounding us. And I think, the lyrics are about my personal struggles throughout, trying to find my true identity or whatever, and about my collapsing and about my rise and falls. But I think this I use the war analogy, and because it sort of displays a lot of things going on in my head. I see it as an inner revolution going on there, and it's I would say that you could probably attach these words to any event going on in the world right now, with the wars going on in between Israel and Palestine, and the ISIS thing going on, as you say. But there's so much distress with Russia and Ukraine, but also there is racism and bullshit going on in Sweden, and I think you can adapt these words that I write about to pretty much any struggling situation, and could find courage or hope in them to hopefully move you forward a bit.
Sure. Very well said. Well, good stuff there, guys. This new release from Evergrey, who this is your 9th release, is called Hems of the Broken. It's just a great release from Evergrey. If you're a fan of them, you might want to go check them out. They do have a website, by the way, which is evergrey.net. And what's on the horizon for Evergrey as far as performances, touring, festivals? What's happening with you guys?
We have a couple of acoustic shows that we're combining with a release party. We're doing two in Sweden and one in Hamburg in Germany within like 2 weeks. And then we have a festival. We're headlining a festival in Romania in October. But I think the touring is going to start next year. So we're just going to do these off gigs this year because we're waiting for. We want to do things right. We don't want to rush things here, and we want to find the right people that would make the best possible stuff for us. So it's next year.
Well, since you're releasing the CD now, and the majority of your touring schedule is going to be next year, do you think it's important to release a CD closer to the touring dates, or do you think that has any effect on it, or how does that work for you guys? What makes you decide when it's time to release music and when it's time to tour in support of the music, or vice versa?
I think for a band that is on their debut album, it's super important to make yourself known while in close relation to the release date. But it's the same for us. If we would be touring here now after the album release, people in Europe would have to wait. So it's not really that different. It's just that we're doing it a bit later and planning it much better. And I think we just will give the album. If we haven't played, we haven't played, and the album is receiving massive positive response, and we're album of the month here and there, and everywhere pretty much. And it's like, if we haven't played, we haven't played, and I am pretty certain and confident that our fans, since we have been here for such a long time, will come even if we come 2 months later.
Well, guys, is there anything else you want to let the fans know about this new release, or Evergrey, or the tour, or anything in particular?
I just want to say that we are super thankful for them sticking by us throughout all these years. It's an honor and a privilege to travel around the world and playing music and be meaningful for people and be important in their lives, and it's something that we are very humbled about. So see you on tour.
Excellent. All right. Well, as I mentioned before, you can go check out the band Evergrey at their website over at evergrey.net. They've got tour information over there, and you can buy some swag and learn about the band members, and of course this excellent new release, which you definitely want to pick up if you're an Evergrey fan. Again, it's called Hems of the Fallen. And guys, I know I've had you on the show before, but it's always fun to ask this question to you. I'll let each of you answer. How has Lemmy from Motorhead influenced your career?
I met him once. I actually know him a little bit. I met him once. The first time I met him, he came up to me and said, I was standing behind a bar counter, and he came up to me and said, give me a bottle of whiskey. And I said, I don't work here. And he said, well, who the fuck does? And then he threw papers in my face. So
How old were you?
I was 21.
Yeah.
But then later that week, we were lying on the floor in this music shop I was working at, searching for a guitar case for one of his mini guitars that he bought from me. So, yeah.
Excellent.
That's my experience of Lemmy.
Just the one of you have a story, or both of you?
No, yeah. I don't have a story. I mean...
So don't say one.
No, yeah, that's why I shut up now. No, I mean, Lemmy, I mean, he's a fucking... I mean, he's a legend and icon. And
he is rock and roll.
I know, totally. Lemmy is God, as they say, you know.
Cool.
Yeah, I met him once or twice, you know. Super cool guy. I mean, funny as hell, you know. They all have, I mean, all the guys in Motorhead, they have this crazy-ass humor. They're insane in a good way. Yeah.
Excellent. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you taking a few minutes to talk to us here on the Classic Metal Show. As always, you're welcome back anytime. Go pick up the new release. Once again, it's called Hymns of the Fallen. Guys, I'll let you guys pick a closing song from the new release and maybe tell us a quick story about it.
This is the new single of the Evergrey album, Hymns for the Broken. This one's called The Grand Collapse. It's a fantastic heavy song.
Buckle up.
It's the law.
Right here on your Classic Metal Show.